evening on our backs. So if you'd mindfully help yourself onto your back, let your knees be bent. And settling in, feel your spine supported by the mat beneath you. Place your hands at your low belly, closing your eyes. Allow yourself to settle into this moment, this space for practice. Breathing in through your nose, take a cleansing breath out. Beginning to notice the quality of your breathing. Seek to lengthen and deepen your inhale and your exhale. Keeping your attention on your breathing, say to yourself silently, breathing in as you inhale and breathing out as you exhale. You can keep your eyes closed or open them to a soft gaze. As you extend your arms out, make a T shape with your body. Your upper arms as they point towards the sides. Inhale, bring palms together, fingertips towards sky, your hands right over your heart. Exhaling, open arms back out wide. Move with your breathing. Inhale, bring fingertips towards the sky as palms press together. Exhaling, opening back up. A few more cycles. Inhale, move, exhale, move. Sense your low back moving towards the ground. And as you lower this last time, slide your hands so they're on either side of your hips, palms facing down. You may want to walk your feet in a little more close towards your hips. As you press down through the soles of your feet, scoop tailbone, lift hips up into bridge. Make this a gentle bridge. It's our first of class. Your legs are strong, thigh bones draw in. Relax your neck. Shifting weight slightly to the left, extend your right leg. Knees, thighs, stay parallel, hips parallel. Breathe, exhale, lower. Reestablish your bridge as you press through the soles of the feet, and then we'll take the other side. Shifting weight right, extend left leg this time. Hip level. Sense thigh bone drawing in as you extend out. Deepen full breaths. Exhale, lower. From your bridge, come high to toes. Roll back down one vertebra at a time as your spine connects back down to the mat. Draw knees in towards chest. And then begin to rock the length of your spine. Exhaling, roll back towards shoulders. Inhale towards sit bones. Rolling the length of your spine just a few times. And then all the way up into seated. You can cross your legs or take bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana, whichever is more comfortable for you. Take your left hand down to the mat. Sweep right arm up and overhead. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Sense a lengthening along the left or the right side of your body, bowing up through your ribs. Draw up from low belly, come back to center. Other side, sweep arm up. Exhale, hinge. Let head be heavy. You can relax your neck. Continuing to breathe, draw back up from low belly. And leaving your legs where they are, exhale, start to hinge at your hips, walk hands forward, make this a gentle forward fold. Notice your chin drawing in, sense length in the back of your neck. You may decide to make this a gentle forward fold as we're just beginning class. Exhale, walk hands back up. If your legs are crossed, switch the orientation of your legs. So whichever leg's in front, bring it behind. If your feet are pressed together, just stay there in bound angle pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, begin to hinge, fold forward. With each inhale, imagine you can lengthen your spine just a little bit more. Walking hands back up. Back up into seated. Take your feet to either side of your hips. Come into all fours. Crown of head towards the top of your mat. Round up right between the shoulder blades. Exhaling, lengthening along spine. Inhale, round up between the shoulder blades. Cat's breath vinyasa as you lengthen along your spine. One more time. Movement all right between the shoulder blades. As you come back to a neutral all fours, turn toes, send hips back and up into downward facing dog. Sense a lift from low belly as you broaden slightly through your upper back. You can bend one knee and then the other, lengthening along the back of the opposite leg. Let your head be heavy. Coming to stillness in your downward facing dog. Inhale, high to toe, step or walk up to the top of your mat, forward fold, head heavy. Pausing in the forward fold. Your hands can be at mat or maybe you reach for elbows. Feel a lengthening along your spine. You can even shake slightly from side to side if you like that variation. If you have hold of elbows, release hands to the mat, lift from low belly, lead with your heart, come all the way back up into standing, gaze lifted. Inhale, sweep arms up and overhead, exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward. Drop halfway, feel a length along your spine, exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, rolling forward into plank. Bending your knees, come all the way down to your belly for cobra. Bhujangasana. Inhale, press back through all fours and up. Downward facing dog. So that's a great version or a great variation on a vinyasa. You can also take a straight leg and either back bend at any time that I cue you to flow in class tonight. Inhale, come high to toes. Step or walk up to the top of your mat, forward fold, head heavy. Pausing in the forward fold, any variation. Bend your knees a little and let your head be heavy. Please also know that downward facing dog is also a good option. Your breath will really guide you to the place that's right for you today. Release elbows if you have hold. Lifting from low belly, lead with your heart. Come all the way back up into standing. Good. Inhale, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward. Drop, lengthening along your spine. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. You can stay here, roll forward into plank, and then either stage of a vinyasa. So bent knees or straight leg. Cobra or up dog. Back and up, we'll meet into downward facing dog. Extending right leg back behind you, hip level. Inhale, exhale, step right foot up. High lunge, lower to back knee, top of back foot. Lifting from low belly, lead with your heart. Sweep arms up, bring palms together. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, hands rise, return back down to low lunge. Turn your back toe, lift knee, exhale, step back plank. Either a version of a flow, bent knee or straight leg. Cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Attention to your breath. As we take the other side, inhale, extend left leg back behind you, hip level. Leg is strong. Step up from low belly, ground through or come to knee and top of back foot, low lunge. Lift from low belly, sweep arms up, bring palms together. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, hands rise, return back down to low lunge. Turn your back toe, lift your knee, step back plank. Option to come straight back to downward facing dog or flow. Notice your breathing. Seek to lengthen and deepen your breath as you drop from low belly, supporting low back. Inhale, come high to toe, step, walk, hop, top of the mat, forward fold, head is heavy. Your forward fold, elbows in front of knees or behind, or fingertips to the mat. Notice your breathing. If you tend to keep tension in your neck, shoulders, maybe you shake your head yes, or shake your head no. So let go of that tension. If you have hold of elbows, release them now. Lifting from low belly, lead with your heart. Come all the way up into standing at the top of your mat with gaze lifted. Bringing your hands to your hips. Shifting weight to the right, step back with the left foot, 2.5 feet. Setting up for intense side stretch as you sweep left arm up right in line with your ear. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, begin to hinge. Come about 1/4 or halfway. Lengthening spine. Exhale, draw back up. Moving dynamically. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Ground through the sole of the back foot. Exhale, draw back up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. This time, lower your hand to thigh, maybe to shin. Take your full version of intense side stretch. Let your head be heavy. Attention on your breath. Really press to the sole of the back foot. Notice the back leg is strong. Then begin to lean back and into your own spine. First from low belly, low ribs. As you lengthen up and out of your waist, shoulder blades draw together and down your back. Bending right knee, draw it right out over the ankle as you walk fingertips forward, step your back foot up, warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, any variation. Your hands can stay to the ground, to hips, or arms up and overhead. Continuing to breathe. Your hands are lifted, lower them back down. Step the left foot back and then pivot on the heel so your toes are to the long edge of your mat. Begin to walk hands around and then building triangle from the ground up. Your right hand comes to thigh or shin. Extend left arm up to the sky. Sense a lengthening along the left side of your body, micro bend in front knee. Breathe, take left arm down into the ground. Walk your hands around towards middle as you pivot on the right heel so your feet come parallel. Take a forward fold. Here your head rests very heavy. Each inhale, feel or sense a lengthening along your spine. And maybe you find yourself just a little bit deeper into the forward fold. Just like we did before, from the low belly, begin to draw up and into your own spine, lengthening. Hands to the ground, bend your knees if you need to allow fingertips to come to the ground. And then walking hands to your left, pivot your left foot towards the back of your mat. Building triangle here from the ground up. Your left arm is thigh or shin, right arm sweeps up into the sky. Feel left thigh bone drawing in as you lean back and into yourself, continuing to breathe deeply and fully. Put attention on your breath. Take your right hand down either side of your left foot. Step your back foot up just a little bit, about like a foot or two, and both toes point towards the back of your mat this time. Hands to hips. Lift from low belly, come all the way up. If you need to adjust your stance to feel more stable, you can take the back foot wider. Sweep right arm up right in line with your ear. We'll take our dynamic, intense side stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Pause about 1/4 or halfway. Drawing up from low belly, come back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Continuing to breathe. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw back up. This next time as you hinge, hands come to thighs, shins, your version of the intense side stretch. Let your head be heavy and you may even sense a rounding along your spine. Notice the back right leg is strong as you breathe. Lean back and into your own spine, lengthening, walk fingertips forward. Exhale, back leg lifts, warrior three. Any stage, your hands might lift, or maybe tonight, what's needed is to keep your hands to the ground. Good, exhale, lowering. Come back into a high lunge. Inhale, exhale, left foot steps back. You can flow or move straight back into downward facing dog. Notice your breathing. Remember, either back bend, bent knee or straight leg chaturanga, all good options. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, high to toes, step, walk, hop, top to the back of your mat, head heavy. Any forward fold, reaching for elbows. And let your hands and arms be heavy, reaching for the ground. Drop from low belly, lead with your heart, come all the way up into standing. The back of your mat, choose a point as you gaze forward, let it be lifted. Your hands come to rest on your hips, relax shoulders, shifting weight left. Bend the right knee, thigh parallel to the ground. Attention on your breath. Good, exhale, lower. Other side, set your gaze, relax shoulders, shift weight right, bend left knee, thigh parallel. Good, lowering back down into standing, hands come down to your sides. Breathing in and breathing out, sweep arms up and overhead, exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward. Lean back and into your own spine as you lengthen. Step back, either flow or into downward facing dog. Move and breathe. And if you stay in downward facing dog, each inhale, maybe you lengthen your spine just a little bit more. Good, from downward facing dog, extend right leg back behind you, hip level. Bending knee, heel toward hip, begin to open hips up to the right. Feel a nice opening in the right hip. And unbend knees, square hips, lower right leg back to the mat. Inhaling, exhale, left leg extends back behind you, hip level, bending knee. Begin to open on the left. Breath smooth and full. As you extend left leg back behind you, step it straight up to the back of your mat. High lunge, ground through the sole of the back foot, lift, come up into warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Thigh bones draw in, exhale, lower back arm, left arm sweeps up for revolve. Coming back to warrior two, exhale, hinge at your hip, take extended side angle. Lower body stays very stable as you draw back up into warrior two, and then hinge into the extended side angle once again. Move and breathe. Move and breathe. You'll do this 2 more times. Lower body strong and stable. Good, and then the last time as you hinge, pause for a moment in extended side angle. If you bind this pose, you can move into that now. Any stage, your hand can also be at thigh. Good, drawing back up to warrior two, hands to either side of left foot. Begin to walk your hands around towards the middle of the mat as you pivot on the left heel. Your feet come parallel, head heavy, forward fold. Notice if weight shifts back towards your heels. Drop forward just a little bit so it's even on the soles of your feet. Head is heavy. Breathing in, breathing out. Lean back and into your own spine as you drop from low belly, lengthening, walking your hands around towards the top of your mat, pivot right toes towards the top of your mat. Lift from low belly up into warrior two. Set your lower body, make it stable, lower back arm, top arm sweeps for revolved. Then come back through warrior two, exhale, hinge, take extended side angle. We'll make this dynamic drop from low belly back to warrior two. Lower body stays exactly where it is as you continue to move through a dynamic extended side angle. Continue to breathe deeply and fully. And this last time as you hinge, any stage of extended side angle, if you bind, you can take the bind, or even hand can come forearm to thigh. Good, drawing up from low belly back to warrior two. Hands to either side of front foot, toes of back foot. Step back, downward facing dog or flow. Attention on your breathing. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to toes. Step, walk, hop, top of the mat, forward fold. Let your head be heavy. Bending your knees if you lean too for tight hamstrings. Good, and bend your hands enough, or bend your knees enough rather, that your hands come to the mat. Taking your first two fingers, almost like a peace sign, wrap them around your big toe. Lift from low belly, begin to lengthen your spine. So draw up and out of your waist, chin draws in, lengthen the back of your neck. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, shoulder blades draw together, slide down your spine. Really strong pose as you drop from low belly. Sense a lengthening. Good, and from here, as you release the toes, sweep arms up and overhead, come right up into standing. Top of the mat, your gaze is lifted. Take one hand to low belly, the other hand over your heart, and close your eyes. Just taking a moment to check in, notice the quality of your breathing. Wherever it is tonight, seek to lengthen and deepen your breath. Always attention on your breathing. Opening your eyes, release your hands to your hips. Set your gaze about eye level or a little bit above, relaxing shoulders. Shift weight to the left, bend your right knee, thigh parallel to the ground. Good, and I'll do this facing forward, maybe a little easier to see. Take right fingertips to the knee. To lean back and into your own spine, exhale, you may guide the knee out to the side. And an option, I don't know if you can see my whole head, but you can glance out over left shoulder. And then bring knee back to center, mindfully lowering. We'll take the other side, relax shoulders, set your gaze, shift weight, bend left knee, heel toward hip. Feel a lift happening from the low belly. Left fingertips to knee. You can take your knee out wide. Glance out over right shoulder. Attention on your breath. Coming back into center. And lower back down. As you're in standing, sweeping arms up and overhead, exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward. Fingertips to the mat, lengthen your spine, step back, a vinyasa, or you can come straight back to downward facing dog. Remember, you can stage your vinyasa if at some point you prefer to take knees bent. Or maybe now you feel more ready for full up dog. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From the space of your low belly, roll forward into plank. Push up position, hips are low. Lean back and into your own spine, and from low belly, draw back once again. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into plank. Wave-like motion along your spine. Exhale, draw back, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale, roll forward. Movement from the low belly. Exhale, draw back. Almost like your hips are being pulled back behind you for downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come high to toes. Lower your knees, all fours. Round up right between the shoulder blades. Exhaling, lengthening. Come back up. Round up right between the shoulder blades. And exhale, lengthen. Good, one more time. Rounding up between the shoulder blades. Exhale, lengthen. From all fours, step your knees back just a little bit, bending at elbows. Come all the way down to your belly. Let your head rest on the mat. For a moment, take your palms wherever they're comfortable for you. So they might stay at chest level, or maybe you lower them a little bit. Connect back in with your breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Begin to lift from low belly. Low ribs come up and off the mat. And as your torso starts to lift, walk arms forward. Elbows right under shoulders. My palms are spread wide, like this. Elbows bent for Sphinx pose. Press down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, create length along your spine as your shoulder blades draw together and down your back. Keeping attention on your breathing. Good, exhale, lower. Your arms might walk back as forehead comes back to the mat. Breathe. Bring your attention to your low back. See if you can create a slight rounding in the space of your low back as your core draws back towards your spine. And then begin to lift low ribs up to heart center. This time your right arm comes parallel to the top of your mat. My palm is spread wide. Bring your left palm chest level. Begin to lean back and into your own spine, very similar to what we did in Sphinx pose as your shoulder blades draw together, down your back, legs are strong. Then extend your left arm down to your side, fingertips point towards the back of your mat. You can stay here. Next stage, bend left knee, heel toward hip. Each inhale, lengthen spine. Maybe you can reach for foot or ankle for half bow pose, Dhanurasana. Breathe, exhale, release. Lower left palm to the mat, right palm to the mat. Turning toes, press up to all fours. Round up right between the shoulder blades and exhale, lengthening. Drop right between the shoulder blades and exhale, lengthen. Come back to a neutral spine. And then bringing your forearms to the mat. So I'm bent like this, with my palms spread wide. Leaning back and into your own spine. Exhale, left and right foot steps back. Dolphin plank. Hips are low, continuing to breathe. Feel your shoulder blades sliding together down your back. Heart center moves towards the top of your mat and breathe. One more breath cycle. And bending your knees. Place your elbows back, your hands back so you come all the way back down to your belly. Unbend your toes. Maybe take a cleansing breath here. Let go of any tension, tightness in your neck and shoulders. And then begin to build. Strengthen through your legs, lifting from low belly, low ribs, up to heart center. Bring forearms to the mat. Palms spread wide, Sphinx pose once again. Inhale, lengthen, shoulder blades draw together, down your spine. Feel your legs really strong as your chin draws in, lengthen the back of your neck. Maintain the lift. As you pivot your left elbow, your forearms parallel to the top of your mat. Bring your right palm chest level. Continue to inhale, lengthen along your spine. Then take right fingertips down towards your feet. As you extend your right arm, this is one stage. Next stage, bend right knee, heel toward hip. Maybe you reach and grab hold of pant leg, ankle, or foot for half bow pose or Dhanurasana. Wherever you are, breathe. So all good stages, you can stay with leg lowered and your arm pointing behind you. Sense a slight rounding in your low back. As you lean back and into your spine, release if you have hold of the leg. Bring right palm chest level, lower back down, left palm to the mat. Elbows point up towards the sky, triceps towards sky. Turn your toes. Lift back and up into downward facing dog. Inhale, high to toes, lower knees, all fours. Round up right between the shoulder blades. And then back to a neutral, all fours. Turn toes, back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to toes, step or walk up to the top of your mat. Forward fold, head is heavy. Keeping attention to your breath. In whatever stage in the forward fold you are. Again, taking first two fingers, wrap them around your big toes, lean back and into your spine as you start to create length. Almost might feel like a slingshot. Like if you let go of your toes, you would actually rise right up into standing. Chin draws in. Lengthen the back of your neck. And then once you create that length and strength, do let go of toes and come all the way up into standing. Gaze lifted. Choosing a point. As you gaze forward, let it be lifted. Relax shoulders. Pay attention to your breathing. Hands to your hips. Shifting weight left. Lift the right leg, reach for toes. Just know that it's also an option to do the bent knee variation that we did earlier in class. To continue to breathe. Exhale, take leg out wide. Lean back and into your own spine. You can glance out over your left shoulder. And then come all the way back to center. Lower back down. Whew. My teacher always tells me if you don't fall a little bit when you do poses like this, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. So good to know, like we don't get prizes for perfection, right? It's just practice. Take one hand over your heart, one hand to low belly. Breathe in through nose, out mouth. Take a cleansing breath. Let go. Let go of anything that's happened in practice so far. Just acknowledging that you can start fresh right now in this moment, approaching this pose as if it's the first time today you've done it. Opening eyes, lift your gaze, bring hands to hips. Attention on your breath, shift weight right, left leg lifts, reach for toes, foot. And again, this is a good stage if that's unavailable to you. Exhale, take knee or foot out wide. Ooh, it's harder to cue this and do it. Can glance out over right finger, out over right shoulder. Good, come back to center. And then mindfully lower leg back down into standing. Hands are at your sides. Cleansing breath. Inhale, sweep arms up and overhead. Hinging at hips, fold forward. Draw up, lengthening your spine. Step back. You can do a vinyasa or straight back into downward facing dog. Move and breathe. Move and breathe. Good. From downward facing dog, from low belly, roll forward into plank. Exhale, low belly draws you straight back into downward facing dog. 2 more times. Wave-like motion along your spine. Legs are strong. Drawing right back. 1 more time, rolling forward. Feel like your hips are almost being pulled behind you, like someone's grabbing hold of hips, pulling you straight back. Good, and coming high to toes, lower your knees, all fours. Coming onto your forearms, this time interlace your fingers. Your elbows are right under shoulders. Sense a rounding in through your low back, and crown of head comes to rest between your forearms for headstand prep, Salamba Shirshasana. First stage to turn toes, lift knees, begin to walk your feet up towards shoulders. Notice that you're light on the crown of your head. So you press into your forearms. And then any stage of headstand. Please also know for your staging that if you want to stay with knees lowered, you're already in the inversion. Your hips are higher than your heart. But continue to draw your low navel towards your spine, whatever stage you choose today. Your legs are lifted, mindfully lowering them back down. Come back to your knees and sit your hips back. Take knees wide. Come back into child's pose, Balasana. Your arms can stay up and overhead or any variation of this pose. If you like your hands to your feet or under your forehead. Seeking to lengthen and deepen your breath. Your hands are down at your sides. Bring them back up and overhead. Draw up from low belly. All fours. Take feet to either side of your hips. Come on to seated on your mat. Both feet on the mat, knees bent, and then extend your legs out. So you're in Dandasana, staff pose. Inhale, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinge, take forward, fold. Your hands might come to thighs, shins, or your feet. Each inhale, imagine you lengthen your spine just a little bit more. Continuing to breathe, draw up from low belly. Bend your knees, feet to the mat. And then help your right knee in towards your chest. Right ankle under your left thigh. Let your right leg bend and my shin is parallel to the top of my mat. Let me shift this just a little bit. You might be able to see me better. And then 2 options. You can keep the left knee bent, or as you lift and spread toes, stacking your left shin right on top of your right for double pigeon. Make sure your feet are engaged to protect knees and ankles. And again, this is a stage, or you could even take bound ankle pose as a hip opener. We'll be here for just a moment. So find a place where you can settle in. If you're very open in your hips, you might even find a little bit of a forward fold. And wherever you are, each inhale, Lengthen just a little bit more to keep your attention to your breathing. Stay very present to whatever's needed in the moment. Let your mind rest there. If you notice distractions, just let them be and come right back to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Just a few more moments here. Continue to breathe deep and full. As you drop from low belly, come back to center. Help your left foot to the mat. Right foot unwinds. Take one forearm over the other. Round through your upper spine and drop your forehead. It may not actually touch your forearms, but it can. Almost like a seated cat's breath pose. As you lift from low belly, draw back up. We'll take the other side. So hoping, let's see, whatever was your other side. For some reason, I feel like I did both already. There we go. So for me, it's right leg stacked on top. Remember to engage your feet. Lift and spread toes to support knees and ankles. And find a place where you can settle in for just a moment. You might be completely upright. This may be intense. And again, you have options. You can be here. It's really common to have one side be a little more tight or tense than the other. Maybe you fold forward. Sometimes when we become still, it's that much harder to focus on your breathing as everything starts to settle. So as distractions arise, notice them and come right back to your breath. Feel the rise and the fall of your breathing. Each inhale, imagine you lengthen your spine just a little bit more. Just a few more moments here. Continue to breathe deep and full. Drawing up from low belly, come back to center. Unwind your feet. Feet to the mat, one forearm over the other. Round between the shoulder blades and let your forehead come to your forearms or in the direction of. Notice if there's any differences between the left and right side of your body. Breathing in, breathing out. Lifting from low belly, come back to center. Press the feet together, knees out wide. Lift your hips if you're not already at the center of your mat. And you can be in a wider diamond. It doesn't need to be a tight Baddha Konasana here. Come all the way down onto your back. Your hands might like to be at your low belly or up and overhead to open in the shoulders just a little bit more. And in this restorative pose, let gravity do the work. Sense that you're supported by the mat and your hips along the length of your spine, head and neck. When distractions arise, notice them. Draw your attention back to your breathing. If your arms are overhead, take them down to your sides. Help your knees up towards the sky, feet to your mat. Draw knees in towards chest and take happy baby, reaching for the soles of your feet. You can rock a little from one side to the other, or stay still in your happy baby pose as your thighs move towards parallel. If you were rocking, come into stillness. Release your right foot and let your right foot float down to your mat. Keep hold of the outside of your left foot. And then rolling up and onto your right hip. Reach for your left foot with your right hand. Extend your left arm up and overhead. You can straighten the left leg for a recline twist. Option to glance out over your left fingers. Keep your leg that's extended strong, so your right leg in connection with the ground. That's your main stabilizer. If you'd like this to be a little more restorative, you can release the foot and let your hand come to your knee, just guiding it over. So your choice if you'd like it to be a little more strong or intense, or if you feel like you need something a little more restorative, calming. A reminder to twist only as far as you can breathe deeply and fully. If you notice your breath shortening, come back just a little bit. And then lifting from low belly, come back. Draw the left knee in, right knee in, and you'll come back to happy baby. So again, you can stay here or rock a little bit from one side to the other. Feel your lower back moving down towards the ground. Then as you still your happy baby pose, this time let left leg as you release foot float down to the mat. But as you begin to roll up onto your left hip, reach for your right foot with left hand, and then extend your right arm towards the opposite wall. As you roll up onto your hip again, you can extend the right leg or you can bend the knee and reach hand towards knee. So your choice of this recline twist. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale fully, exhale fully. Again, your left leg is your stabilizer, let it be strong. Drawing up from low belly, help yourself back to center. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Place your hands on your knees. Rock from one side to the other, or maybe make some circles on the ceiling with your knees. Any areas of tightness, tension, imagine your breath moves right to that space. And as you're connected with your breathing, take a moment to check in and see if anything else is needed in your practice before we take Shavasana. So you have space if you'd like any other poses. Although you've had a complete practice, there's nothing else needed. And I'm gonna come up while you stay completely reclined. As you're ready, you can move into Shavasana. Extend your legs out the length of your mat. Let your hands rest at your sides, palms facing up. Closing your eyes. Breathe in through your nose and take a cleansing exhale. Let go of any breathing practices. And just allow your breath to rise and fall naturally. Relaxing your body. Feet and legs are heavy. Let your hips sink into the mat. Relax your spine, torso, arms. Soften neck and jaw and the muscles around your eyes. The only thing you need to be concerned with right now is the rise and the fall of your breath. Drawing your attention back to your breathing. Feel the rise of your inhale and the fall of your exhale. Begin to awaken your body, moving fingers and toes, arms and legs, Take your head from one side to the other. If you're ready, bend your knees, feet to the mat, knees in towards chest. Help yourself to the right side of your body and pause. Take one full breath cycle there. And then using your hands, guide yourself up into seated. We'll meet with palms together at heart center. Thank you for your presence this evening, for joining me in practice. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be at ease. Namaste. Thanks, Allison. I'm glad you were here tonight.
Thanks, that was great.